A to Z Social Studies Class 8. Chapter 2. Reshaping India's Political Map.
The medieval period. The word medieval means between two ages. In European history, this age signifies the period between the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century CE and the Renaissance in the 14th to 16th century CE. Once considered a dark age. However, this term cannot be applied to Indian medieval history, as India's historical trajectory differs greatly from Europe's, and historians don't universally agree on defining periods. For India, the medieval period is considered to span the 11th to 17th century CE. This era witnessed numerous invasions from Central Asia, including Turks and Afghans, seeking wealth, territory, or religious expansion, leading to the decline of old kingdoms and the rise of new empires. Rise and fall of the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate was founded when Chauhan ruler Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori in 1192, marking the start of frequent political change. It was ruled successively by 5 dynasties, the Mamluks or slave dynasty from 1206 to 1290, the Khiljis from 1290 to 1320, the Tughlaqs from 1320 to 1413, the Sa'ids from 1414 to 1451, and the Lodis from 1451 to 1526. While the Sultanate controlled much of northern India, powers like the eastern Gangas and Hoysalas resisted its expansion in the east and south. This period was marked by frequent wars, plunder of villages and temples, unstable politics, and violent successions, with about 2/3 of sultans gaining power by eliminating their predecessors, averaging just 9 years per reign. Ala-ud-din Khilji. Ala-ud-din Khilji was a famous ruler of the Sultanate period, who began military expeditions across north and central India at the start of the 14th century, plundering many cities while also repelling several Mongol invasions. His general Malik Kafur led military campaigns into southern India, conquering Hindu kingdoms like Srirangam, Chidambaram, Madurai, and possibly Rameshwaram, plundering wealth to finance the empire's military. Khilji also introduced a controversial token currency, using cheap copper coins meant to hold the value of silver or gold, which, though forward-thinking, caused trade confusion and rampant counterfeiting, contributing to economic instability during his reign. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq expanded Delhi Sultanate territory, bringing almost the entire subcontinent under one ruler for the first time since the Mauryan Empire, but this control was short-lived. He introduced ambitious reforms that failed due to poor execution, most notably relocating the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, forcing thousands to travel over 1,000 kilometers, only to shift back to Delhi years later, causing massive loss of life and wealth. He also introduced token currency using copper coins to represent silver and gold value, which created trade confusion and counterfeiting, further destabilizing the economy and weakening the Sultanate's control. Wealth, society and decline of the Sultanate. Sultans and courtiers lived luxuriously, funded by military campaigns, taxes on commoners and conquered lands, and the slave trade, which disrupted trade networks and agriculture. This era saw numerous attacks on sacred Buddhist, Jain, and Hindu temples, driven by plunder and iconoclastic beliefs. Some sultans imposed the jizya tax on non-Muslims, causing economic hardship and pushing many toward conversion. In the late 14th century, Timur invaded northwest India and brutally sacked Delhi, killing or enslaving vast numbers before retreating with immense riches. Following this devastation, the Lodis established the Sultanate's final dynasty, though its territory had significantly diminished. Resistance to the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate consistently faced opposition throughout its reign. It could not subdue the eastern Ganga kingdom of Kalinga, where ruler Narasimhadeva I repelled Sultanate attacks and defeated its governor in Bengal, later building the famous Surya temple at Konark. Independent regional sultanates also emerged and rebelled, with the Bahmani Sultanate rising in the Deccan by the mid-14th century, while Gujarat and Bengal formed powerful, conflicting states. In Rajasthan, Rana Kumbha of Mewar successfully resisted incursions in the 15th century. Additionally, the Musunori Nayakas, Telugu chieftains, united over 75 leaders to defeat Delhi Sultanate forces, and drove Muhammad bin Tughlaq's army from Warangal between 3030 and 3036. The Vijayanagara Empire. As the Delhi Sultanate faced political turmoil, brothers Harihara and Bukka, former governors under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, broke away in the 14th century to found the Vijayanagara Empire in the south. To its north, the Bahmani Sultanate fractured into 5 independent Deccan sultanates: Bijapur, Golconda, Berar, Ahmednagar, and Bidar, each engaging in conflicts with Vijayanagara and Gajapati rulers of Odisha. According to legend, the empire's capital was established at Hampi, after Harihara and Bukka witnessed a hare confronting hounds, which their guru Vidyaranya interpreted as a sign of resilience and courage, worth commemorating with a new capital. Krishnadevaraya. In the 16th century, the Vijayanagara Empire flourished under Krishnadevaraya, marking unprecedented expansion and cultural revival across the Deccan. He was a generous patron of poets and scholars in Sanskrit, Telugu, and Kannada, even composing the Telugu epic Amuktamaliyada, which included a section on Rajaniti, or governance. He made substantial grants to temples like Tirupati, and built the magnificent Vithala temple at his capital. He died of illness in 1529 after celebrating military victories. In 1565, a coalition of Deccan sultanates defeated Vijayanagara at the Battle of Talikota, devastating the city and causing the empire to fragment into smaller Nayaka-led regions by the mid-17th century. The rise of the Mughals. As the Delhi Sultanate weakened, Babur, a Turkic-Mongol leader descended from Timur, emerged after being ousted from Samarkand. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi at the First Battle of Panipat in 1526, using innovative military technology like gunpowder, field artillery, and matchlock guns, ending the Delhi Sultanate and founding the Mughal Empire. After Babur's death in 1530, his son Humayun struggled to hold the empire, and Sher Shah Suri founded the rival Sur Empire before Humayun reclaimed his territories. Himu, a Suri commander, briefly captured Delhi, but was defeated by Babur's grandson Akbar at the Second Battle of Panipat, restoring Mughal rule. Akbar. At just 13, Akbar became emperor after his father Humayun's unexpected death, driven by fierce ambition to unify the subcontinent under Mughal rule. His early reign showed ruthlessness, notably during the 5-month siege of Chittor, which ended in heavy Rajput casualties and mass jauhar by women, followed by Akbar ordering the killing of 30,000 civilians. However, he later adopted tolerant policies, forming Rajput marriage alliances, abolishing the jizya tax, promoting sul-i-kul, or peace among faiths, and appointing Hindus to high positions. His nearly 50-year reign, from 1556 to 1605, combined military conquest with a strong interest in Persian and Indian literature, philosophy, and art, founding a house of translation at Fatehpur Sikri. Jahangir and Shah Jahan. Following Akbar, his son Jahangir had a passion for art and architecture, and aimed to extend the empire into the Deccan region. Jahangir's son, Shah Jahan, faced multiple rebellions, but is chiefly celebrated as the visionary behind the Taj Mahal in Agra, a testament to architectural brilliance recognized worldwide. This era marked the zenith of Mughal artistic and architectural achievement, exemplified by Humayun's tomb in Delhi and the impressive red forts in Delhi and Agra. Classical Indian arts and music thrived during this period, alongside extraordinary works of calligraphy and miniature painting, reflecting the cultural richness of the Mughal court. Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan's reign ended in violent succession, when he fell ill in 1657, and his son Aurangzeb defeated and executed his elder brother Dara Shikoh, dealt with 2 other brothers, and imprisoned Shah Jahan in Agra fort until his death. Aurangzeb crowned himself emperor in 1658, adopting the title, Alamgir, meaning conqueror of the world. His nearly 49-year reign marked the empire's greatest territorial extent, but involved persistent rebellions and continuous costly warfare in the Deccan, which strained resources and is frequently cited as a major cause of the Mughal Empire's swift decline after his death in 1707. He lived an austere, devout life, unlike Akbar. Aurangzeb's religious policies. Unlike Akbar, Aurangzeb banned activities he deemed un-Islamic, such as music and dance, and reintroduced the jizya tax on non-Muslims along with a pilgrimage tax on Hindus, both previously abolished under Akbar. Some scholars argue his actions were driven by political expediency rather than purely religious fervor, since he also granted protection to certain temples. However, his personal edicts reveal a clear religious agenda. In 1669, he ordered provincial governors to demolish temples and suppress non-Muslim practices, leading to the destruction of temples in Benares, Mathura, and Somnath, as well as Jain temples and Sikh gurudwaras, and intolerance even toward other Muslim sects and Zoroastrians. Resistance to the Mughals. Throughout Mughal rule, various groups resisted oppressive administration. In the 17th century, Jat farmers from western Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and eastern Rajasthan confronted Mughal officials, even killing a corrupt official, and around 20,000 Jats later engaged Mughal forces before being quelled after their leader's death. Tribal groups including the Bhils, Gonds, Santhals, and Koks also resisted Mughal attempts to annex their lands and impose taxes. While many communities were subdued or absorbed, those in remote, forested, or hilly regions preserved significant independence. Rani Durgavati, the courageous Gond queen of Garha kingdom, fiercely defended her realm against Akbar's forces in 1564, ultimately choosing death over capture. The rise of the Rajputs. The Rajputs, based in northwest India, trace their heritage to dynasties like the Pratiharas, who resisted early Arab invasions into Sindh. After the Khilji conquest, two major Rajput clans emerged in Mewar and Marwar. Rana Sanga unified various Rajput clans in the early 16th century, but was defeated by Babur at the Battle of Kanwa. Maharana Pratap of Mewar famously refused to submit to Mughal authority, and at the 1576 Battle of Haldigati, though outmatched, he escaped and waged a prolonged guerrilla campaign from the Aravalli hills, aided significantly by Bhil archers who knew the terrain intimately, earning them a respected place in Mewar's military tradition. The Ahoms. In the 13th century, the Ahom ethnic group migrated from present-day Myanmar to the Brahmaputra Valley, establishing the Ahom kingdom, which fiercely resisted Sultanate and Mughal expansion into the northeast. They used the Paik system, requiring every able-bodied man to serve the state through labor or military service in exchange for land rights, enabling infrastructure development without a permanent army. The Ahoms blended with local culture, boosted agriculture, and enriched Assam's traditions. At the pivotal 1671 Battle of Saraikat on the Brahmaputra River, Ahom commander Lachit Borphukan defeated a larger Mughal force, using guerrilla tactics and deep knowledge of the region's difficult terrain. The ascendancy of the Sikhs. In the 15th century Punjab, Guru Nanak founded Sikhism, centered on equality, compassion, and belief in one God, or Ek Onkar. Initially a spiritual movement, Sikhism faced growing persecution under Mughal rulers, as Guru Arjan was tortured and executed by Jahangir after being suspected of aiding a rebellion, prompting his son Guru Hargobind to arm the Sikh community for self-defense. In 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur was executed by Aurangzeb for refusing forced conversion to Islam while defending persecuted Kashmiri Pandits. His son, Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, founded the Khalsa in 1699, a warrior brotherhood for justice and faith, leading to repeated clashes with Mughal forces. By the 19th century, Maharaja Ranjit Singh united Sikh confederacies into a powerful Sikh empire that resisted both Mughal remnants and British expansion. Administering India. Administration under the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate established a political framework centered on the Sultan, who held complete political and military authority, responsible for defending Islamic territories, collecting taxes, and engaging with public welfare. A council of ministers aided governance. A key feature was the Ikta system, where territories were assigned to noblemen, or IQ tatters, responsible for tax collection. After covering their own expenses, funds went to the Sultan's treasury, primarily supporting the army. This created a network of local administrators loyal to central authority, though positions were not hereditary. Taxes were imposed at multiple levels on trade, but the heaviest burden fell upon the peasantry, who often faced harsh revenue extraction methods. The Mughal administrative structure. Akbar restructured Mughal administration for greater control and efficiency. The Diwan managed finances. The Mir Bakshi oversaw military matters. The Khan-i-Saman handled public works, trade, industry, and the royal household, while the Sadr managed justice, religious issues, and education. The empire's 12 provinces, or subas, had assigned ministers with checks and balances among officials, while village-level self-governance remained largely intact. Akbar also introduced the Mansabdari system, where Mansabdars, or officers, maintained troops and equipment according to their rank, receiving land grants, or jagirs, as compensation, hence called jagirdars. Non-Muslims remained a minority in higher administrative ranks despite Akbar's religious tolerance. Finance Minister Todar Mal implemented an efficient revenue system through detailed crop surveys and comprehensive land surveys, greatly improving tax collection. People's lives. Between the 13th and 17th centuries, India experienced dynamic political change alongside a thriving economy rooted in agriculture, artisanal industries, community-focused economies, and extensive trade networks, supported by decentralized systems like guilds, or shrenis, and occupational communities, or jatis, securing India's status as one of the wealthiest regions globally. Infrastructure advanced significantly under Sultanate and Mughal rule with roads, bridges, canals, and new cities. Currency systems evolved, with Mughals using the silver rupee and copper dam. Agriculture remained the economic cornerstone, with rulers extracting land taxes ranging from 1/5 to 1/2 of produce, and irrigation expansion boosting cultivation of food crops like rice, wheat, and sugarcane, as well as cash crops like cotton, silk, and timber, though famines caused hardship for peasants. Temples, trade and artisans. Temples served not just as places of worship, but as vibrant centers for community engagement, education, arts, and economic activity. Supported by land and wealth donations, Ardena, funding irrigation systems, tanks, and pilgrim accommodations, while also offering credit to merchants and financing trade. Skilled artisans produced textiles, weaponry, household utensils, and jewelry, while shipbuilding advanced India's trade capabilities. Indian goods flowed through ports like Calicut, Surat, and Hooghly, with exports far exceeding imports, mainly consisting of silk, horses, and metals. The hundi system allowed merchants to transfer funds across political borders without physically moving cash, functioning as a precursor to modern banking and facilitating trade independent of ruling authorities. Social and economic life, prosperity and strain. While the early years were characterized by prosperity, by the late 1600s the economic landscape showed signs of strain, as peasants often had little of their harvest left after taxes and intermediary payments, leading many to lose their land and become bonded laborers, while craftspeople and laborers also endured difficult conditions. Despite this, foreign travelers noted India's abundance, though wealth remained concentrated among rulers, courtiers, and the merchant elite. Ongoing wars caused displacement, and communal tensions sometimes arose over destroyed sacred sites. Nonetheless, people of diverse faiths generally coexisted peacefully, relying on each other economically, while rulers and communities together sustained and revived art, literature, spirituality, and cultural traditions despite continuous political change.